Hi everyone, hope all is well, and I am here with the next video in the renewable energy system. I am going to discuss about solar energy, and in particular I am going to talk about concentrated solar power system. So let us see what is this CSP is all about. Before that, let us have a small recap. In the previous video I discussed about different renewable energy sources which are listed here: hydropower, solar energy, geothermal, marine energy, wind energy, and bioenergy. So, in this video, we are going to focus on solar energy. What is this solar energy is all about? The energy which we are obtaining from the sun in the form of light and also in the form of heat is called as solar energy. We can have a system to convert this light energy which is coming from the solar system or sun to produce electricity, so which is nothing but solar photovoltaic system, or we can use the heat energy to produce electrical power, which is nothing but concentrated solar power system. And other applications also available like solar thermal, so where the heat energy of the sun is directly utilized to produce heat for certain heat related applications. So let us see what is CSP, concentrated solar power system. So the concentrated solar power system has a different method to utilize the heat energy of the sun to produce electrical energy. Basically, we have our reflectors, and these reflectors reflect the solar irradiance on the heat transfer fluid. So the heat transfer fluid absorbs the heat energy, and this heat energy utilized to produce steam, and the steam is used to propel the turbine, and the turbine is connected with the generator, and the generator produces the electrical energy. So this is the basic concept of solar, concentrated solar power. So in the process of CSP, we can reach up to 400 to 1000 degrees Celsius in the heat transfer fluid. So this heat which is stored or which is obtained from these reflectors, we can use them to produce the electrical energy even when there is no solar irradiance. So we can produce electricity using the CSP 24/7, where we have direct solar resources, good solar resources. Let us see how the system works. It's a pictorial view of this CSP, where I have a reflectors which takes the solar irradiance and reflect it over the tube which carries the fluid, that is heat transfer fluid, which is coming from cold storage tank. From the cold storage tank here, the fluid is going to circulate in the pipe, and this pipe is placed over the reflectors. So when the sunlight is available, the sunlight falls on the sun solar irradiance fall on the reflector, and it reflects on the tube, which produces high temperature, and the heat which is produced here is absorbed by this heat transfer fluid, and it is going to be stored in this hot storage tank. So when you need to produce the electricity, the hot storage tank is going to release the hot fluid into this steam generator, where it takes the another input, that is a cold water from the cold water tank. So the cold water is getting entered into this steam generator. Since we have already very high temperature fluid inside this, the water which is passing through the system is get converted into high pressure steam. So this high pressure steam flows to the turbine, and the turbine start rotating. When the turbine rotates, the generator is coupled with it, so that the generator also start rotating, and thus it produces the electricity. The low pressure steam which is coming out of the turbine passes through the cooling tower, where the temperature is reduced, and it goes to the condenser, where the the steam is converted into water, and again it goes through the same process. So this is how the concentrated solar power system works. So let us see the key benefits of CSP technology. The first one is the energy which you are obtaining is from the sun, and of course it is free, clean, and available all over the globe. Though the CSP needs high intensity sunlight. Okay, so the CSP is mostly installed. The CSP systems are installed in the barren lands where you have high light intensity and heat, especially in the deserts. The energy what you are obtaining from the CSP is dispatchable in nature. That means we can use this CSP uh, method to produce any peak load, to meet any peak load. So whenever there is a high demand in the load from the consumer, the other renewable energy sources like solar photovoltaic or the wind energy may not be able to produce that much amount of energy, because it depends upon the solar light intensity or the wind availability during that particular moment. But in this CSP, we are going to store the heat energy in the tank, and whenever you need to meet peak loads, we can release this heat energy to produce high pressure steam, and immediately we can generate the required amount of power. When the power requirement is less, the heat energy whichever we are getting it from the CSP system is used to heat the fluid, and it is going to be stored in the tank, storage tank. So that's why we call this as a dispatchable energy. And also the CSP is also used to control or regulate the frequency and voltages whenever it is required in the grid. It provides another advantage, that it accommodates different energy sources which is of intermittent in type or in nature, like wind turbines which is not producing the electricity 24 bar 7, or the solar photovoltaic system which is not also producing the energy for all 24 hours. So maximum you may get 5 hours to 6 hours uh, peak generation from the solar photovoltaic, and in the night and the evening and morning time it produces very less or almost a zero power. So this kind of renewable sources, what is intermittent in nature, we cannot consider for achieving the peak load of the particular grid. So when we are not producing the energy from this kind of renewable energy sources, we can turn over the CSP so that we can achieve the peak demand even the sunlight is not available or the wind is not available at that particular point. So it helps the other renewable sources to get connected in the grid. Competitive price. So the cost of producing the electricity using the CSP is getting reduced because of the recent advancements, and it almost matches to the gas or diesel power generating stations. The price of electricity which is coming from gas power station or a diesel power station. Efficient and long lived storage. It's all about how you store the heat energy to produce the electricity. Usually in the photovoltaic system, you store the energy in the form of electricity in the batteries, and during the night time or when the sunlight is not available, you use that energy stored in the battery to feed the load. Here in the CSP, we are going to store it in the form of heat, the storage tank, where we are going to have a fluid like a molten salt. So this salt is going to keep the temperature in the hot tank, and whenever you need to generate power, we are going to utilize this. And the lifespan of this storage mechanism is all about 25 years or plus. And also the losses uh, in this method is very less compared to the battery system what we have at present day. And there is no much carbon dioxide emission in this operation, of course, because of the solar light or the solar power. So implementing this CSP can generate job opportunities, and there is no earth materials, the rare earth materials used to produce the electricity, like the our atomic power plants or something like that. So we are not using any rare earth material, so which may uh, finish or which may complete in future. In many countries now they are implementing the CSP, so that means the new plants are emerging in a lot of countries. So let us see, there are few countries which already installed the CSP successfully and they are running it. So UAE almost installed around the 6,000 megawatts, and the USA it's almost around 1,500 to 2,000 megawatts of power is being produced in the CSP capacity. In India, it is almost around 4,500 megawatts of power uh, at present or in the month of May 2020. So there are four different types of CSP technology, so which I am going to explain in the next video. Until then, it's me, Rajababu. Bye bye. Take care.